From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. A report on Department of Correction facilities has been released and changes are being made.
Governor Bill Walker today announced he has accepted the resignation of Ron Taylor and named former Anchorage Police Chief Walt Monaghan as interim commissioner.
The system is broken in many ways and needs new leadership.
This after the conclusion of an administrative review of the state DOC, which was made public today. It found outdated policies as well as cases of lax or informal consequences for alleged employee misconduct relating to solitary confinement and inmate deaths. Interim Commissioner Monaghan, who served as police chief for APD for 5 years, says the review will be a starting point to reform the DOC.
I will take that as the first step and use it as a guide to what needs to be addressed.
The review was prompted by several inmate deaths. It was conducted over 11 weeks by a special assistant to Walker, Dean Williams, and Joe Hanlon, a former FBI agent. It included visits to the state correctional facilities, interviews with superintendents and other DOC employees, reviews of inmate deaths, and correspondence with current and former inmates. The findings support outdated policies and procedures.
Some of them have not been reviewed or updated since the 1980s.
We've detailed certain deaths in the report that are compelling, that are going to be disturbing to some, especially the family members. But that's part of fixing something's telling the truth.
The report details 3 cases of inmate suicides and 2 cases of inmate deaths while under Title 47 protective custody. Title 47 says the state must provide 12 hours of protective custody for persons publicly intoxicated when other treatment options are unavailable. The report examines the death of Gilbert Joseph while in Title 47 custody at the Fairbanks Correctional Center in August of this year. According to the report, 2 FCC COs can be seen on video standing outside of a cell while an inmate places his hand over Joseph's nose and mouth, possibly obstructing his airwaves for up to 17 seconds. Joseph can be seen on video gasping for air and later dying. The report alleges an officer appears to have seen Joseph get assaulted and went in to confront the cellmate but did not act to prevent or intervene in further assaults. It also mentions significant discrepancies, omissions, and inaccuracies in the initial reports.
The lack of follow-through on investigations when there's a death was certainly a concern. The ones that were looked into, as you'll see, were not done adequately, and further analysis was done as a result of the review. So it was very disturbing.
Representative Tammy Wilson is urging Governor Walker to not accept Syrian refugees in light of the recent terrorist attacks in Paris, France. Wilson, a Republican from North Pole, said, quote, "The news that the attacks had been organized in Syria and that one of the individuals behind the attacks was a Syrian refugee is very alarming." She said until we can be certain that we aren't admitting terrorists into the state, she feels it's absolutely necessary to not accept Syrian refugees. The governors of 15 states have already announced that they will not be accepting Syrian refugees under the Obama administration's plan. Governor Walker has not indicated that he will ask that Syrian refugees be kept out of Alaska.
I'm very concerned about safety of our Alaskans when we know that we can't effectively vet Syrian nationals. And then also what kind of resources would be available that would be going out to those who are not residents versus taking care of our own is very concerning. We've all heard about what happened in Paris, and I don't want to see the same thing happen here.
Fairbanks police officers and Alaska State troopers blocked off a section of Van Horn Road on Saturday to investigate gunfire from a local construction business. Responders were called to Big Iron Construction Services after witnesses saw someone firing a gun from a window towards Van Horn Road. FPD enlisted the help of an AST Bearcat vehicle to infiltrate the building after failing to communicate with the unidentified gunman. Officers apprehended the man peacefully. Now, no one was injured during the incident, and the man is not being charged as of today, pending psychiatric evaluations at Fairbanks Memorial Hospital. The investigation on Saturday took nearly 4 hours to complete. Incident Commander Lieutenant Matt Soden says the reason for the longevity was to ensure the relative safety of all personnel involved.
We didn't know whether we had one person or multiple people, whether we had somebody that was in danger or not, and so we took our time to try and do our best to assess exactly what we had, make efforts to make contact inside before we just decided to make entry.
When we come back, well, you can tell that winter has arrived not only by the cold and the snow, but also because air quality alerts have been issued. We'll explain.
All right. Also, 6 schools are coming together to make bread for the Fairbanks Community Food Bank for the upcoming holidays. We'll have these stories and others when we come back. And welcome back. A Fairbanks man is facing felony charges after authorities say he tased and pepper sprayed a woman after meeting for sex. 23-year-old Aaron Fleck is charged with robbery in the first degree for the incident that took place back in May. According to the woman, she used a website to solicit paid sexual encounters. The victim told police she and Fleck met in a room at the Westmark, and after a brief sexual encounter, he pepper sprayed her and robbed her of the money he had given her for the encounter. Now, the unidentified woman fled the room and was then tased by Fleck. Authorities tracked down Fleck from text messages between the two, and he was arrested and charged for the incident.
A Venati man has been indicted by Fairbanks grand jury on charges of murder. 33-year-old John Roberts was indicted for the October 3rd stabbing death late last month. Not much detail has been made available about the case, but authorities have reported Roberts fatally stabbed the victim at a party after an alleged altercation. Roberts is currently being held at Fairbanks Correctional Center on a no-bail status. Trial is scheduled for the case in January.
Another air quality alert has been issued by the borough. The Stage 2 advisory will expire at 5 p.m. Tuesday. It means burning is allowed in EPA-certified solid fuel burning appliances, hydronic heaters, and other approved units. Now, if it goes to a Stage 3, the restrictions are much more controlled. People who have no other means of home heating can get a waiver from the borough.
And individuals that, if they, for economic hardship, or they simply don't have any other source of heat in their household, they can come in and apply for what's called the no ash, no other adequate source of heat waiver. And then once that's on file, when we call these various Stage 2 or Stage 3 alerts that have restrictions, if they have that on file here, they're exempt from those restrictions.
One local family prioritizes the value of giving back to the community and just in time for Thanksgiving. Reporter Ryan Grimes documents the Prainer family as they enlist the help of 6 local schools to donate fresh bread to the Fairbanks Community Food Bank.
The Prainer family has helped the Fairbanks Community Food Bank meet their goals at least once a year ever since young Nick Prainer asked his mom for permission to start getting more active in the community.
I'm like, hey, I should do a food drive. And I go home and I'm like, Mom, I want to do this food drive. And she's like, okay, let's make it happen.
Ultimate goal is not only to help the community, but it's also to teach the children, the students of our community, how to be part of the community.
Today, the Prainers stopped at several local Fairbanks schools where approximately 1,000 students were tasked with making 2 loaves of bread, one for themselves, the other for donations.
It was like, yeah, it was fun, and I got to learn how to do it, and it went to a good cause, so it was really fun.
In all reality is that some people need to eat. They are hungry, starving, and they need to eat some bread.
It just sounded like a great idea. Not only have the students been working in the kitchen this semester, but then applying those skills to help someone in the community.
The Prainers brought in about 390 loaves, with more coming this week.
Yeah, we got the bread.
Those loaves of bread will be providing about 50% to make up Thanksgiving bundles that go to families in need.
The one thing I really want the kids and the parents to know for this bread making project is that you really are making a difference in somebody's day, and that you really are making it better.
This is Ryan Grimes reporting.
Great story.
Mm-hmm.
All
Absolutely.
right. Joe Cook is up next with the weekend recap in local sports.
Also a spectacular I-5 after the break.
Welcome back, Interior Sports fans. It's Monday, so it's weekend recap time. I'm Joe Cook. As of now, the Fairbanks Ice Dogs are still the top team in the NAHL with a 16-4-1 record, but even Superman has kryptonite. After falling to the Janesville Jets for the 3rd time this year in a 4-3 loss on Friday night, the 2 teams faced off for Game 2 on Saturday after Caden Cahill's power play goal in the first for the Ice Dogs. The Jets answered like they did on Friday night with unanswered tallies. Taylor Fernandez, he scored twice in the second period to give the Jets a 2-1 advantage, and that's all the Jets would need. Jack LaFontaine made 27 saves for Janesville, and the Ice Dogs lose 2-1. It's the first time Fairbanks has been swept at home all year, and the Ice Dogs are 0-4 against the Jets. Fairbanks hosts the Cooley Region Chill this weekend. The Alaskan Annex didn't leave Bemidji, Minnesota empty-handed over the weekend. UAF was looking for the sweep on Saturday night after their come-from-behind 4-3 win on Friday. They had to rally again on Saturday, down 0-2. Taylor Munson and Marcus Bassara, they tied the game at 2-2 going to the third period after their goals. But the Beavers prevent the Nanack comeback with 4 goals in the third. 3 of those scores were on the power play. Bemidji State, they win 6-3 for their first conference win of the year. Bassara finished with 2 goals, while Peter Krieger and rookie Jack Weiss added 2 assists. Alaska is now 4-6 overall and 2-4 in the WCHA. They travel to Ferris State this weekend. Even in defeat, the Alaska Nanacks volleyball team still won on Saturday, going up against the Simon Fraser clan. On the road, senior outside hitter Sam Hartoon needed 1 kill to break the all-time GNAT record on Saturday. She got that kill in the first set and was recognized by the clan. Hartoon finished with 9 kills. She now has 1,470 kills for the new conference record. The clan, they won the match 25-18, 25-15, 25-14 for the sweep. Alaska falls to 5-20 on the year and 5-13 in the GNAC. They host Western Oregon and Concordia this week for their last 2 matches of the season. This past weekend was a good weekend for the Alaska Nanack basketball team. Saturday, the men's team took on the Chaminade Swords in the GNAC Pac-West crossover finale. The Swords cut the Nooks with a double-digit lead in the first half. Alaska, they gained a 53-52 lead at the break with a Javante Williams 3. The threes rained in the second half. Both teams went for 34 trays, with UAF hitting 16 of them. 5 players scored in double figures for Alaska, led by Williams, game-high 25 points as he throws it down right there. UAF outscored Chaminade 112-102 to win the GNAT Pac-West tourney. Williams was named MVP, and Bengali Kaba was an all-tournament pick for the Nooks.
We were down like 15 points, and they were hitting threes, and it was just like, yo, we got to just keep chipping at the lead, and hopefully, we can get it going. And shots were flying tonight; they were going in, so it was a good game for us. So in the second half, we was in the locker rooms like, yo, we got this. We coming back hard. We're not gonna get hit in the mouth like we did, and we ready for it.
I'm proud of the guys. Our depth stepped up, and we battled and got even at half, and made it a 20-minute ball game. And I just think we had a little bit more energy, willpower in the second half.
And in the women's game, Alaska mustered a rally in their matchup against Dixie State on Saturday in the GNAT Pac-West Challenge. The Red Storm led 29-25 at the half and led by as much as 10 in the second quarter as Leslie Tamati and Taylor Mann led Dixie with 14 and 13 points. But Kaylee Jold and Jaylee Mays were the comeback catalyst for UAF. Joel scored 14 of her 19 points in the second half, and Mays scored 15 of her game-high 22 points in the second half. Mays also added 9 rebounds and 5 assists. Alaska gets their first win of the year in the 83-73 final over Dixie State. Now we end the weekend recap with this week's high-flying UAF edition of the I-5 Interior Top 5 Plays.
At number 5, Kaylee Jold of the women's basketball team goes in the paint with the solo drive, pass fake, and finishes. 2 of her 19 points as Alaska wins 83-73 over Dixie State on Saturday. Number 4, defense to offense for the UAF men, and Bengali Kaba caps off the play with a 2-hand jam in Alaska's 112-102 win over Chaminade. He had 17 and 7. More on this game in a bit. Number 3, Nanack hockey. Brandon Morley, a.k.a. B. Moore, goes for 3 goals. His first career hat trick lifts Alaska to a 4-3 win over Bemidji State on the road on Friday night. Number 2, back to UAF hoops. GNAC Offensive Player of the Week, Javante Williams, reaches back and throws it down against Chaminade. 2 of his game-high 25 points. Williams was named GNAC Pac-West MVP for UAF on Saturday. And at number 1, senior outside hitter Sam Hartoon sets a GNAT record with 1,470 career kills after 9 kills in her last outing. This swing in the first set gave her the record in a 3-set loss to Simon Fraser on Saturday. To vote for the Play of the Week, click on your favorite play on the I-5 poll on webcenter11.com. You can also comment on the KTVF Facebook and YouTube post and at KTVF11 Sports on Twitter for your vote. The Play of the Week will be revealed this Friday.
The I-5 Sports Report is brought to you by Adient Orthopedic Physical Therapy.
And that's it for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into our Monday night edition of Fbx Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again talking about the weather. Hope you had yourself a good weekend. Boy, it was chilly. Frigid temperatures, they're going to continue at least through most of this week. maybe a little bit of relief toward the end of the week. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Our photograph night sent in by Jeannie Brooks, Winter Wonderland. You can see why. Nice look at the hoarfrost on the trees there, and that's a beautiful shot with the nice colors. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. And here's our almanac for today. As you can see, today's high 5 degrees below zero. The low last night 22 below. The record high 44 in 1916. Record low 41 below in 1969. Sunrise and sunset about 6 hours and 12 minutes. Once again, a reminder, the 5-photo calendar is out. It's free, a good stocking stuffer. You can find all the different locations by going to our website at webcenter11.com and looking under the lifestyle column there. What's going on in the satellite and radar? Once again, you can see we're looking at lots of showers and rain moving across southeast Alaska, elsewhere across the state. For the most part, clear skies across the interior, just some mid-level clouds. Kind of squeeze a little bit of the precipitation out of there in the form of snow flurry activity, but nothing else going on, so it looks pretty good. On the big map, looks like this. Over southeast Alaska, once again raining from Ketchikan all the way up to Juneau, and then it's turning to snow around the Juneau areas with 33 degrees. Some cool temperatures in Anchorage, only 3 degrees above. That's pretty cold for them. Kodiak, 23, partly cloudy skies at Cold Bay, up and down the west coast. Lots of sunshine until you get to Nome, then clouds increase once again. 5 below at Barrow, and Fort Yukon, 2 degrees below zero. Lower 48 weather, a lot to talk about. This storm system here really cranking up and becoming a major winter storm with blizzard conditions expected in Denver tonight, 12 to 18 inches of snow. Out ahead of it, strong to severe thunderstorms moving out, and another system moving across the Pacific Northwest, bringing with it quite a bit of weather. While over the eastern half of the country, you can see a main level of a little bit of rain moving across the eastern half, then nice over the New England area. Now, as far as this snowfall is concerned, there's your heavy snow expected all the way from parts of New Mexico all the way up through Colorado into Kansas and Wyoming and even Nebraska. So it's going to be a wild night there. And it's all being brought in by the jet stream. Once again, you see the jet stream roaring across the Rockies, taking a dive down to the south and then roaring back up again across the New England area, and snow showers expected there. Well, it's time once again for our kids' weather, and this week we have a new class to talk with, Nordale Elementary School. And tonight, a young lady here with an exciting story about Hurricane Katrina.
Here's my weather story. Hurricane Katrina. The week before, it was nice and sunny outside. The waves on the beach were splashing. The nice thin air was blowing. All of a sudden that night, it was storming, lightning, and thundering. They called it Hurricane Katrina. The streets in Gulfport, Mississippi were flooded at my house. The winds were incredibly strong. Even though I was really young, the story still passes on because it was an important event in my life.
And thank you very much, Amber, and thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. Tomorrow night, another young lady will be here with a picture of lightning that she drew. And our forecast for, first of all, for the northern sections of Alaska tomorrow, isolated showers in Barrow, partly cloudy skies for Nome, snow showers at Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, we'll be looking at mostly cloudy skies, just some isolated snow showers off and on across the entire region. Over the southeastern sections, snow showers for Juneau, rain and snow showers in Ketchikan. While out to the southwest, it looks like rain and snow for Cold Bay, snow showers at Bethel, and windy conditions in Kodiak up to 35 miles an hour. And down around the Anchorage Bowl, well, mostly sunny skies for Anchorage and Homer, warmer than it was today, partly cloudy skies for Valdez. And our forecast for the remainder of the night, again looking at the air quality index, once again is stage 1 moderate for the Fairbanks area, and stage 2 unhealthy for sensitive groups for North Pole, so keep that in mind. Our forecast is calling for once again a very cold, frigid night, cloudy and cold with isolated snow showers, 21 below. Tomorrow's forecast 11 below, and patchy fog in the morning, keep that in mind. And the 5-day outlook, temperatures trying to rebound a little bit by Thursday and Friday, off and on periods of light snow throughout the entire period, no real heavy activity expected. Overnight lows will once again be very chilly, down to the mid-20s to lower 20s below zero across the 5-day period. So frigid, cold.
We have reached that time period.
Yeah, we have. You know, 5 below today, and it felt a lot colder than that.
Yeah, it did. Because of moisture. Because of the moisture in the air. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. All right, thanks, Mike. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Well, tonight on NBC Nightly News, the Belgian mastermind of the Paris attacks is now believed to be in Syria. That's up next with Lester Holt.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
All right, from all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.